Good afternoon, everyone. Tashina Gonzalez here with Vida Activa, and today I am going to share with you a presentation on the 5 languages of appreciation or the 5 love languages. So, as you can see on this first slide, it mentions very simply what they are: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. But before we jump in, for those of you that don't know me, I am Tashina Gonzalez. I reside in the state of Michigan, and I am a self proclaimed pop psychologist. So I just love personality profiles and things that help us understand and communicate with other people in a better way and help us understand ourselves. So we should never use any of these to put people in a box. Everyone is an adult, everyone can adapt to situations. But there are certain things that it just seems like we were born with. And so, if we remember to try to communicate with others in the best way they can understand us, it will help. And so, personally, as an individual running a home based business, I am working on this in order to build better relationships with my team. So, the best way to learn something is to teach it. And therefore, I am putting together this presentation to give myself a reminder of how I can implement it more. But I have known about this system from Dr. Gary Chapman for about 20 years, I believe. So it is something that can be used in a work setting, a business setting, as well as really help families and individuals in any type of relationship. So with that, before we get into the details of it, one of the concepts of the book is about the love tank. So it mentions that you should view everybody as walking around with a love tank. And everyone needs to have a full love tank. So if you come across an individual that behavior, a teenager that seems to be acting out, a person that seems to be rude and sarcastic all of the time, it's probably the case that their love tank is empty. So we want to picture everybody with a love tank and see, how can I add to their love tank? How can I show them some type of appreciation so that their love tank can be filled? And the best way to do it is the best way that they understand, and that's through these 5 love languages. So a couple quotes just to get us started about why these is so important. So a quote from William James: the deepest craving of human nature is the need to be appreciated. So we all need to feel appreciated. And why this is so important: we assume others show love and appreciation the same way we do. And if they don't, we worry it's not there. So here's just a quick list, a quick overview of the 5 languages of appreciation. And that's kind of what we refer to them when they're in a business setting, or the 5 love languages, which is more of a personal relationship. But the reality are they're the same things. So we have words of affirmation. So these are encouraging and affirming words that can reinforce a business partner's desire to feel wanted or needed. Acts of service, helping employees get tasks done or working collaboratively on projects that can help your business partners by invoking a sense of teamwork and purpose. Quality time, one-on-one time with business partners, which can lead to better insight into their needs and increase motivation. And generally, you want to have a good relationship with someone if you're engaging in physical touch. And so when we talk in a business setting, we generally talk about a high five, a fist bump, or congratulatory handshake. But in the company that I represent, we do refer to ourselves as a young living family. So if you know someone is physical touch and they're okay with a hug, then of course it's okay to hug them. And when it comes to family members, you would give them the physical touch that they need. And lastly, tangible gifts. So the key to an appropriate gift in a business setting is not the amount of money you spend on the gift. It's taking notice of what those business partners like: coffee, chocolate, sports, books. And purchasing small related gifts is a great way to make them feel appreciated. So now we're going to deep dive into these. So we have a quote here from Mark Twain. I can live for 2 months on a good compliment. So Mark Twain obviously was words of affirmation, and this is one of my highest love languages. So there's different versions. You can take the couples version and the singles version and the workplace version. And I flip flop between words of affirmation and gifts. So I'm very familiar with words of affirmation. And for those who perhaps this is not your top languages, here are some different dialects that you can learn to speak to those who is. So giving verbal compliments, encouraging words, kind words, humble words such as apologizing. And remember that your tone is very important when it comes to words of affirmation. Your partner the individual is going to interpret based on tone more than anything. And that's really has to do with general communication and overall. So it's been said by different studies of communication that really only 7% of our communication is verbal, the words that we speak, and 37% is actually the tone. And the rest is actually body language, which may be a reason why I prefer face to face. And why, even for me, Zoom is not the funnest. It's not the same thing, although I do appreciate it. I instinctively understand that full communication actually involves being and seeing the body language. And so that's the way that I prefer. And if you ever see me on a Zoom call, you'll probably notice that I do a lot of body language. I'm very close to my camera. I'm usually nodding my head when I'm in agreement with something. And I think that it's real related to my words of affirmation. I'm trying to give that feedback and that affirmation even in other types of communication. Quality time. So sometimes just spending some quality time with good friends is the only therapy you need. So quality time is very, very low on my list. However, both of my brothers and my nephew, Dayton, are quality time. So a quality time individual feels appreciated and loved when they receive focused attention from someone, when there's meaningful conversation that is shared, when they participate in quality activities with the individuals, and when time is spent and uninterrupted, no matter what the activity is. So they need time and attention to know that they are appreciated or loved. So this is super important. So for me, if I walk up to someone and they're on their cell phone and I ask them a question and they don't look up and they answer the question, that does not bother me because I'm not quality time. But for a quality time, you want to put that cell phone down, look the person in the eye, give them a clear answer because that's part of how they feel appreciated. So just another little example again, my youngest brother, he is quality time. I'm 12 and a half years older than him, so I'm more like his mom. And so I had to tuck him into bed every single night for him to feel loved. When he was like 3, 4 years old. And there was one time that I didn't do it and he was upset with me for like a week. And it was a big ritual. Like I would have to do a rap song for him and we would say good night and I love you in different languages. It was a full ritual. And there would be other times where like I would come by the house, again, if he's 4 or 5 years old, I'm already almost, I'm a young adult in and out of the house. I'd come and he'd be like, such and such is on the TV. We should watch it. And I'd be like, why in my head? And then he would just reply, so we can be together. And so, of course, I would watch it with him in order to fill his love tank and show him quality time. So those are just some examples. So again, it's going to help you with your family members, but when it comes to your business partners, you got to remember then too, this is the person probably if you text them every day, they won't mind. They're probably, if they have a question, they're probably going to want to talk to you on the phone. These are the people that definitely are going to appreciate those care calls. Tangible gifts. Some gifts are big, others are small, but the ones that come from the heart are the best gifts of all. So, this is my other top love languages, and I believe that this is one of the most misunderstood love language. I hear people of other love languages all the time refer to people whose love language is gifts as materialistic, or they'll say, "Oh, well, if you get in a relationship, you're going to have to be less materialistic if you're gifts." And that is 100% false. We were born like this. And like this quote shows, it doesn't matter the price. The gift can actually be free as long as it comes from the heart. So I'm going to tell a little story before I go to this one about one of my little friends at my place of worship. So she is definitely gifts and probably another love language. And we had hung out on the weekend doing some Bible preaching, and then we were at our place of worship, and it appeared that she missed me. And so her father was giving a presentation, her mother was answering a question, so that both of her parents were distracted. So she walked all the way across the aisle in order to come give me a sticker. And I put that sticker on this little binder that I have that would have some of our materials in it. And people would ask me all the time, "Why do you have that sticker on there?" And so I could tell them the story of how I got it and how my little friend Adasa almost risked her life. She probably got a spanking when she got home for doing that, but she wanted to show me that she loved me. So there's been plenty of other times. I remember I graduated and my younger brother and sister, they just made me a whole box of love notes. And so again, that was something that they did for free, and that was like one of my favoriteest gifts. And I used to write love notes to my parents. And so when it comes to our business partners, these are the people that are going to love getting handwritten postcards from you. These are the people that are going to love getting happy mail from you. Everybody probably is going to like it if it's practical, but these people are actually going to feel appreciated when you do those things for them. One last thing that's under gifts is the gift of self. So, for a person whose love language is gift, it is really important when you sacrifice your time for them. So, um, in contrast to the quality time person, gifts person is not going to be someone that you need to call every day. But if you notice that that person on Facebook has lost a loved one, or if you notice that they have an important graduation or anniversary, you will get so much by making sure that you acknowledge that, by sending that person a card, by sending that person a text message and acknowledging that, because that's an important milestone in their life and they feel so much more appreciated when you do that. Acts of service. Often small acts of service are all that is required to lift and bless another. So I could probably think that this is the second most misunderstood, because if it's not your love language, you don't get how, you know, this equates to love, but it does. And so this little list that we hear is like something that is between, spouses, doing the dishes, washing their car, running errands, things like that are going to be super helpful. So my sister, her top love language is acts of service. And so remember we mentioned on that first slide, making sure that you can help them do something. So my sister will very frequently ask me, "Are you going to be at my class, my next class? Are you going to be on for this class?" And when she asks me that, I know she's actually asking me how much I love her and that I need to be at that next class. And why do I need to be at that next class? Again, in contrast to the quality time, she wants me there for support. And so when someone has a question, if somebody needs to bring in the boxes, if somebody needs to set something up, if the internet isn't working, she wants to know that she's going to have somebody else that's there with her that are going to give those acts of service to support her. So again, when we're in a business setting, that's how you're going to support the person that's acts of service. You're going to show up and make their life easier by doing things for them. And so, because they can be misinterpreted, a good point on here, ask them how they would like to be shown love. Physical touch. So this one is fairly clear and fairly known. And I do have this slide mentioning very clearly. Did you know physical touch makes you healthier? Studies show that massages, hugs, and hand holding reduces stress and boosts the immune system. So obviously, all of us need a hug once in a while. I love getting massages. I love cuddling with my nieces and nephews, but this isn't one of my top love languages. So when it comes to physical touch, these are the people who being around them is going to be really important because you cannot touch them if you're not around them. Again, when we are at a meeting and we're recognizing people, this is the person that you're not just want to verbally recognize, but you're going to give them a high five, put your hand on their shoulder. You're going to want to just show in some tangible way through touch that you really do appreciate them. So again, here is a quick reference for how we can do these languages of appreciation, just to review it. So words of affirmation, leave a note or tell them a specific trait that you value in them. Quality time, give your focused attention for a period of time to check in or just hang out. Acts of service, you can say something like, I have 10 or more minutes. How can I help you in that time? Tangible gifts, buy them their favorite drink or snack or a little something they would like. Physical touch, give a celebratory high five. So this is the book that is more business and employee related, the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace. But again, I love this scheme. I think it's so helpful to couples, so helpful to families, so helpful to parents with their children that I've read every single version of this book in existence. So I've read the one for parents and handed it to my parents. I've read the one for singles, for couples, to know how to interact. I've read so many, I've probably read like 7 different versions of this. So I would definitely, as a parent, read at least 2 versions. One that's going to help you communicate better in your business, and the other that's going to help you in your family. And then just a few quotes in order to just drive home why this is so important, why this is my personal goal to work on through the rest of the year and improve on when it comes to my team. Trade your expectation for appreciation, and the world changes for you. Don't forget, a person's greatest emotional need is to feel appreciated. Just remember, love is a choice. Love is active. The other quote here, love is an unconditional commitment to an imperfect person. To love somebody isn't just a strong feeling. It is a decision, a judgment, and a promise. So have conversations with your team, figure out what their love languages is, and then actively show that you appreciate them. Actively show that you love them by speaking to them in the way that they're going to understand it. And just remember, a person who feels appreciated will always do more than what is expected. And lastly, this is how to connect with me. My YouTube channel, Tashina Gonzalez, where I have over 600 videos, 130 of which are in Spanish, about all things health and wellness, including emotional wellness, and lots of different business videos of this type. I have one on the color personalities, on the 4 stages of learning, and this particular one will be uploaded there as well. Facebook, where you can find any of my normal classes, and if you choose to follow me on Instagram or Snapchat, I'm at SweetCanella5, and Twitter at SweetCanella. Thank you guys so much for listening to me today, and please share this information if you know anyone that could benefit from it. Have an amazing day. Bye.